Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. My co-host Greg Anderson joins me. Ando, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Very excited too. What a list.
There is a list, mate. We are covering triathlon, soccer, squash, the Southern Footy League, and I tell you, Ben Wilson's going to join us. It is an amazing story this guy's got to tell, so you need to stay with us for that. And there is a beauty coming up about a triathlon runner, so Ando, it is going to be a good show.
Great show.
Right,
with you as
we
well.
We only hope that the interviewers are any good, mate. That may be the question mark on the whole show. Time to get over to Ash for the news. Ash, what have you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Well, another disappointing week in SO Sport. The Adelaide Thunderbirds continue to search for their first win of the season following their loss to the New South Wales Swifts. The game was up in the air until the final seconds, with New South Wales clinching victory by only 2 goals. The T-Birds will enjoy a week off before facing the Queensland Firebirds at home on June 17. Port Adelaide have been handed a heartbreaking loss by the Hawks over the weekend, falling by just 3 points. The Crows suffered a similar fate after being outworked by GWS, whose late quarter change was enough to topple the home team. Let's hope Port can bounce back and conquer the reigning premiers tonight at Adelaide Oval, while the Crows take the fight to Freo in Perth. The Australian Ice Hockey League All-Star Game wrapped up over the weekend, with Team Resic taking out both the skills competition and the All-Star Game. Adrenaline Sebastian Anderson and Glenn Forbes-White represented South Australia in the tournament and didn't fail to impress. Adrenaline will have a well-deserved 1-week break before they face Canberra at home next Saturday. American import Ramon Moore will remain with the 36ers in 2019. Moore re-signed with the club after a strong year, which saw him claim the Coach's Award last season. The 36ers will kick off their season in October. South Australia's own Shane Edwards has been awarded the Yukon Medal after an outstanding performance in Richmond and Essendon's Dreamtime game over the weekend. Over his career, Edwards has had a string of great performances in Dreamtime games, which is the marquee match of the Sir Douglas Nicholls round. The 3 judges voted unanimously to award Edwards the prestigious medal. It has been announced that the 2019 Handers Women's Australian Open will be played at the Grange Golf Club in Adelaide next February. The tour will bring some of the best female golfers in the world right here to South Australia. The 2020 edition will also be in South Australia and will be played at the Royal Adelaide. Adelaide United continues to revamp their roster after confirming a massive overhaul. Mark Euching is the latest Reds player to seek opportunity elsewhere, becoming the 7th player in just a couple of weeks to confirm his departure. United will shift their focus to trying to recruit ex-Sydney FC striker Bay Antonio for the club's next season. That's all for this week, guys. I'll see you next time.
Yes, thanks Ash for the news. That was fantastic. Well, time to turn our attention to the Southern Footy League and the great Southern Footy League. And as you know, this Saturday at Strathalbyn, the boys go at it. So the 2 presidents are in. Obviously, returning veteran for us, Craig Warman, the president of the Southern Footy League, and the president, Gordon Tonkin, of the great Southern Footy League. Boys, what are we expecting? Last year you guys had a little wager. It's 8 years in now and the Southern Footy League got up. Mate, firstly, can we just clarify whether the wager got sorted out in the end or not?
Well, I've gone white, as you can see.
Yep.
That was part of the process. Gordy's rescinding a little bit. He's had 12 months to get over the shock of handing over the cup at the end of the day, the Pillmore Cup. And of course, poor old Kevin down at Victor Harbour, he's had nothing to sleep with for the last 12 months either. So,
but it's back on, which is fantastic.
Well, it's an ongoing thing now with the Great Southern Footy League. We have a really good day down at Strathalbyn. Well, it's their turn to host, so down at Strathalbyn this year.
Hey, can we talk about it? Because the women's league, obviously the AFLW has come in and that's pumped everything up. So, Gordon, maybe to you. Women's game
we
included?
are this year. It's an inaugural women's game between the 2 associations. So we have a full-blown women's competition in both leagues now. Last year we only did it in a sort of a satellite trial, but we've now got an 18 competition in our league, and you're roughly the same.
Yep.
And so we've selected sides out there to compete, and so this is a first. So we're paying for the Jan Baish Cup. Jan, a supporter of both leagues, heavily involved in football in both the Southern and Great Southern Football League, so it's appropriate that we honour Jan. And this is going to be great because out of this we will also have a Southern District zone side for our women that will play in Renmark, which you'll obviously talk about as well. So that's another thing that will happen this year for the first time.
Okay, the women play at 9:45 at Strathalbyn. Have you both been surprised by the explosion in teams so quickly in the Women's League?
Massively so, and I certainly, I know Craig would be of the same view. If we took last year, we probably had in all in our league something like 200 registered players that we now have just short of 1,000. So that's in 1 year.
Wow.
And we've got different grades, of course, as Craig has. So we start with under 13s and 14s and under 16s. So this is only a 16 and over, so we call it an open competition. And of course, some of those under 16s that are quality players are coming up to, and they'll be represented, and they can play football. And what's been amazing for me, and I guess Craig may have seen it, is that we've just had our grand final on Sunday in our league, and the development of those girls having had 1 year under their belt of playing some footy, gee, it's pretty handy.
You could even see it in the AFL right through having that year under their belt, and the second year was always going to be a pretty exciting year once they start developing the game themselves, but also their skills. Getting back to the seniors aspect of it, I want to hear some more banter. That's for sure, because there's a lot of rivalry there. And I coached at the Southern League for 4 or 5 years, and our league, of course, is better than the Great Southern League, but their side's better than our league, and so this game it means a lot.
Credit where credit's due. For the first 5 years, they got us.
Yep.
And that was on the back of we didn't have association footy for a long, long time. With the work that Gordon and I have been able to do to get the thing back on a level playing field, it was terrific for not only the competition itself, but for us to snag one last year. And of course, that leads to the rivalry continuing and getting even more banter between the two leagues that will culminate in what promises to be a really good game at Strathalbyn on
It'll be a cracker
on Saturday.
Because the rivalry's always been there, probably not so much at the top with the presidents and the association, but within the teams, the clubs, and especially the players. What is the best league? And now all of a sudden, as you said, the last 6 or 7 years, you had to put it out on the ground and. Let the scoreboard do the talking.
The rivalry's there between us.
I've seen it coming in, twice. He's tripped him up before we walked into the desk.
Hey, boys, we talk about it. 8 years in, you talked about how you had to restructure. Now, Ando's played in the great Essendon-Collingwood type rivalries that has been built over hundreds of years. So have you seen it grow each year? That rivalry does start to mean a lot more all of a sudden?
Yeah, it does, because when you look way back when we had the Lovelock Shield, we used to play Hills, we used to play River Murray, we used to play Great Southern, and you'd play one game on the Saturday, the two winners would then play off on the Monday for the Lovelock Shield. And that was always a really, really good competition between those 4 leagues. But as we say, with the demographical change, it's now appropriate for us to be playing against each other. So, look, you can just bet London to a brick that there'll be text and phone messages going left, right and centre between Great Southern boys and Southern boys, because there is that mismatch where sometimes we get some of theirs.
As well, by the sound.
Oh, well, you know what you know what it's like.
On the back of this, we also, as apart from bragging rights, which is really important.
Yeah, very important.
We all like them. And whilst Craig and I work closely together, we still enjoy the rivalry and the spirit that comes with that.
Ando's taking some calls on it now, mate. So
he's taking the bet.
One of the boys texting in already saying, get your money on the Great Southern Footy League. Yeah.
Great Southern? No, Southern League. Southern League. I used to be part of the Cove.
We'll take some money on that.
Hey, just on that, 1 minute enemies this weekend, then on the 8th of July up to Renmark for the zoning footy. So the Great Southern Footy League and then the Southern Footy League got to come together and play as one. Is that difficult?
No. I don't. No, well, you always get the odd one or two players from each group that don't want to go.
Yep.
But it's the opportunity to then go on and play possibly state footy if you're selected by going to the country championships. It's just another avenue for us to give our elite players a better pathway.
That's pretty important, isn't it? I mean, obviously, you know, we had some players when, like a Josh Ramsey Association, and then
Josh Vick.
Yeah, Josh Vick. Then lucky enough to, you know, play in the, you know, for South Australia in the country league. It's absolutely fantastic that the pathway they've got to,
The only
to play the elite.
only sad part about that is that it's no longer a national competition, and there's only Western Australia left in that league.
Yep.
And it would be nice to think that we could get back to having Victoria and New South Wales back into that, but it, you know, logistically got a little difficult. But
It is still fantastic we're in that state, Guernsey.
It
So
is.
it doesn't matter who you're
So-
playing. If you know that you're, you know, the best, 22 representing your, you know, your colours, it's very nice.
And fortunately, Western Australia are keen to continue that, and they had the
brilliant.
bit of us last year. So, but like you say, it's the opportunity for that. But I would also suggest that it's also a great opportunity for players to then be seen by league clubs and get that opportunity to play league football. And there's a number that have as a result of this. And to quote, you know, there's a guy played a premiership. Balderstone played a premiership for Norwood. He came out of that system and got looked at by Essendon.
Right.
Now, he was a ruckman and he's played
Big
for a
Sam.
number of years.
Yep.
Sam Balderstone.
Yeah, he's having a great year this year with
Yeah,
Yep.
and so Sam's come out of that system and he played for Mount Compass and then came into association in zone football and played very well, and of course that's how he got noticed. Our rules are that within zone football that we need to have 6 players under the age of 21, and that's to give those younger players an opportunity because some are late developers, as
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
and that gives them a greater opportunity to be noticed. So we play association football with 5 under 21s so as that we can pick their 6.
Okay. Now, quickly, boys, because we've got to wrap it up. I know it's obvious who you're going to tip, so let's just go for the margins instead of who's tipping. So let's go with you, Gordon. What are the great Southern Footy League going to win by?
Well, I think that you know, it'll be a tight game, so I'll say 1-12. But hopefully the weather remains fine, and if we get up by more than that, that means you'll owe me double.
All right, 1-12. What do you got, Craig?
Oh, you double, righto.
So
No,
you're saying
I
2-24.
No. I think I'd back us in for maybe 3 goals.
3 goals.
Yeah.
All right, we'll look forward to
That
hearing
was
what the
about the
results were.
margin last year, and it was a terrific game of footy for those who saw it. But not only the A grade game, we've got 2 junior grades that'll be competing on the day as well,
Yep.
under 15s and under 17s after the women's. And both of those games last year were down to the wire as well. So if you're looking for a really good game of country footy, get down to Strathalbyn and have a look, because you'll see the cream of both leagues.
All right,
out there.
9:45 the women play, then the under-15s, under-17s, then the seniors. Get down to Strathalbyn on Saturday and have a look. Stay with us, still plenty to come on the show.